Welcome back, everybody, to the Star Wars podcast, where we talk all things Marvel, Star Wars, and everything in between. Please take a moment to check our show notes to find our social media, merch, and more. Today, we are recapping Andor Episode 9 in full spoiler details. So if you haven't seen the episode, I would get out of here. And I'm joined by a man who has 217 shifts left, but really, I'm never letting him go. It's Tommy Pizzullo. Tommy, how are you?
I thought it was so close. I mean, I guess at least I'd rather know now until I'm down to like 20 shifts and then I have a stroke. That'd probably be a little worse.
Yeah, you have 217 podcasts left, and then you think you're going to be done, but then I'm just going to send you to another podcast.
Whoa! Do I at least get to pick the other podcast, or like not even that? Like you just choose.
It's a horrible place. You're going to podcast till you die.
Oh, wow. Well, I'll just have to contact my cousin, Mr. Podcast, and get this figured out.
Tommy, I am so excited to be talking about this episode. This might be my single favorite episode we have ever talked about. I loved this so much. Andor is on fire.
Ever, like, more than Marvel, more than WandaVision stuff, more than Hawkeye stuff. You loved Hawkeye with a pizza dog.
I loved Hawkeye, but I love this more. I really love it. And like, I was a little iffy on some of the formatting stuff in the beginning and how they were doing the episodes. So I'm not going to go so far as to say it's my favorite series yet. This thing really needs to stick the landing. But this episode was really great. I felt like a lot of things came to a head, and we got to see characters in situations that we've been waiting for the whole time. And it's just awesome. I loved it. I'm grinning.
Yeah, I think a lot came together in this episode, and a lot, like, it also feels like we're at a place where we can catch up. Like, I think 1 and 2, episodes 1 and 2, I think for a lot of people were a little slow. For me, it was a little like, okay, what are we doing here? Once you get established to the Rebels, it was kind of moving too quickly for me for a bit. I'm going to admit, like, I was like trying to catch up to the amount of information I was getting. And I feel like Andor being in the prison, this last 2 episodes have given me the ability to be like, okay, I feel comfortable. I get what's happening now. And I agree with you. I really like this episode, and I really like where the series is going, but I think I want to see where it ends this season.
Yeah. I think that's the other thing. Let's get out of the prison next week. We've had the perfect amount of time in the prison. Time to escape.
Yep.
Maybe the whole episode is the escape, and then he's finally out in the next one. That's fine. I can do that. But like, let's actually get out of this. It's the kind of thing where, like, I'm not annoyed yet, but if they do another full prison episode with no sort of escape, then I will be annoyed. So this is the perfect time. Get out.
Yeah, it goes past next episode, bad. If it goes the full episode, okay. I would like half, just not the full. I don't want the full episode in the prison. I want like a half episode. Like they get out early and then establish where it's going for the rest of the series.
I feel like it's gonna be like the heist episode, Tommy, where like it's like one thing that they're doing, but it's like the whole deal.
Star Wars loves Star Wars loves breaking people out of prisons. Like I feel like this happens in almost every series they have. Name one, other than the animated, the small show, but the live action. There's always a prison break.
I'm trying to think. I mean, there's a prison break in the original trilogy, A New Hope. They saved Princess Leia. I'm trying to think of other ones that jump out right now. There's
Mandalorian.
Well, what happens? I don't even remember.
Well, it's not, if you Baby Grogu when they go to get him off the ship, I guess that's technically not a prison, but like he's in, he's locked up and he's got little baby handcuffs on.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. There's a prison break there. Okay, well, let's dive into the episode here. I have it, Tommy. This is the other thing. Very strange editing, and that my notes are all over the place because it was just cutting around sporadically all over the place. Like there were points where we'd like cut back to Andor and he's just working, and then we go to a different scene. And it's like nothing. It just showed him working for like half a second. With that being said, I still think I have the most notes ever on an episode here, so we'll try to go through it quick. But we're going to talk about it in 3 segments. It's going to be Dedra and Bix and Sorrel and all the people she encounters. It's going to be Mon Mothma. And then we're going to talk about the Andor stuff at the end to close it out. So let's start with Dedra. This is kind of, we get the final meeting here between Bix and Dedra, and a lot of stuff is going on here. Dedra is basically like kind of giving her a whole spiel. You know, she gives her the "Are you a fish or are you a thief?" speech. She's basically, warning Bix in the kindest way that if you don't tell me everything you know, then something horrible is going to happen. And yeah, this I thought Dedra's acting in this was absolutely incredible. Um, uh, what's the line here? The very worst thing you can do right now is bore me. I'm like, wow, you are very scary. What'd you think of this?
Yeah, I thought it was perfect. She balanced the like there's almost like a friendliness to it that made it even more icky. Like the whole thing felt very smug and perfect. Like it really was. And she's becoming a character that like I know I said before, like maybe she joins. I love her as this villain, this like you see where she's coming from, and she really is trying to do good at her job, but she's an awful person. This is awful.
Yeah, she is very daunting. There's no way, there's no redemption arc for this character anymore, right?
No, the only thing I can see is maybe a romance arc for her, but I think she goes full evil here.
Yeah. It was really interesting in this episode. I got his name. I couldn't remember his name last time, but it's like her friend that worked at the business. His name's Pack. They captured him initially, and we find out via dialogue here that Pack has basically ratted her out and told Dedra everything. So yeah, let us, Pack. Come on, bro.
Yeah, I also love that whole like where she was like, "Keep him in here. I wanted to see." And then when, oh no, please get him out. Like it was such a great manipulation tactic of like get her that emotions flowing right from the beginning. Um, I thought that was, but yeah, like why did he rat her out? I mean, listen, they're being tortured because even Vix here, like I was like, why did you? But it's probably really bad, like
Yeah,
this torture. Uh,
yeah. Well,
I
let's.
know I would give up pretty easily, Michael.
Yeah,
Don't tell me any secrets because if another podcast ever captures me and tries to torture me, I'm giving it up right away.
I don't blame you. It's okay. But yeah, let's talk about the way that he decides to torture her here. And I was a little confused on like how exactly this is working. But it sounds like he's just using the cries of young children that are dying to torture her. Is that what you got from this?
Yeah, I think so, but it doesn't. I felt like her scream. I don't know. Maybe this is gonna make me sound heartless. I felt like her screams were way too intense for just hearing someone else cry. I feel like it'd be more of a long, like I feel like it's not an instant me being upset, but it'd be like after a while I'd be broken. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so and it has to be more than like sound itself because that it could be very terrible. I can like yeah, I don't want to think about how horrible that could sound. But you have to imagine, they're not AirPods in her ear. It's like a helmet. So I
Yeah.
imagine like the sounds are like rattling in her brain and it's physically painful as well.
Okay, that's what I would. Yeah, there has to be that combination because I feel like the yelling is more from that, but like the whole thing is probably just, and you probably can hear it after the fact too. Like it probably doesn't leave you if you're hearing something for like hours on end in a like a in a vacuum. That yeah. So I understand, Biggs. This was not your fault.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Like just thinking about it, this was like one of the creepiest thing. This is the creepiest thing I've ever seen in Star Wars.
Should we test out? When? Wait,
Like,
when? Just kidding. I'm not trying to make you. This is a very sad thing.
sorry, listeners. This is you have to listen to the cries of Tommy and myself.
When?
uh, how horrible. But yeah, so the doctor, creepiest award. Is that an award? We're gonna do an award show eventually. The creepiest award goes to this doctor.
Yeah, I love creepy doctors. Like doctors that are so into like in the I like Dr. Frankenstein types where it's like they're so passionate about their work where they sometimes cross that line of what's humane and stuff. And I kind of felt that from this guy. I felt that from the doctor.
You're into the mad scientist.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so. And
yeah,
seeing it in a Star Wars world, I think is when you see different varieties of jobs, I think in the Star Wars world interest me sometimes of like, oh, what would like this a mad scientist type in the Star Wars world be like.
Right.
It's fun.
All right. Well, so this goes on throughout the episode here. Dedra's coming back in and asking, and then she gets it back on, so on and so forth. Biggs does not give anything up. Very impressive. We do get a line towards the end of all this where, there's another officer that comes and talks to Dedra, and Dedra, he mentions, "What do we do with Pack?" She's like, "Just hang him. I don't care. Hang him in the town square." So that character is dying off screen, I guess.
Voice him out for Hags, I guess.
Yeah, I just learned your name this week. Goodbye, my friend.
Yeah.
So next year, Dedra's like kind of like, she's moving a lot. She's moving around a lot. She's got a lot going on. She's very busy now that she has like all this responsibility in finding Andor. But she's back in the boardroom here, and they're talking a little bit more about like the mission. She's kind of updating them. They still don't have an ID on anybody, but they kind of get down to the point where they're talking about Andor. They're basically making the connections between the heist and Andor. Andor originally had a beard. He shaved it to do the heist. This was a red flag to them because they said that the people there were clean shaven, and now Andor is clean shaven. So I don't know. The beard's a big deal to them.
Which honestly, these people are already better than anyone that exists in Superman's world because they still can't figure out that he just wears glasses. So the fact that they were able to like deduce this,
Yeah.
maybe there's some smart people in the Empire. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Well done, guys. You figured out the facial hair stuff. Um, we'd be in trouble. I guess Tommy, you don't have a mustache right now.
Right
We kind of
now,
alternate between having mustaches and not. I have one, you don't. Sometimes
well,
you
that's
have
because I
one.
went. Yeah, I went to a bank and robbed the bank, but I was clean shaven. They haven't figured. So don't let
Yeah.
don't. Hopefully, they don't figure it out yet.
There's gonna be like on the news like tonight. Bank robbed. If anybody mentions having robbed a bank, please turn them in. It's like right by your
It's so
house.
specific. Yes. If they have a podcast, if whoever robbed this bank has a podcast and you happen to listen to it, let us in. Anyone else, if you hear anyone else robs a bank but doesn't have a podcast, they're fine. Just let them go. We're looking for specifically those podcasters.
Exactly.
You've been roped into this. You're now also part of this.
Are we? Because I guess next year we got to talk about Cyril. More Cyril stuff here. Back. I hate. I'm gonna. This is where they're starting to wear thin on me a little bit. The prison could get like this if they keep going. But like, I'm so sick of seeing Cyril in the kitchen eating cereal. I'm like, all right, his mom nagging at him. I'm like, we've gotten this scene like 6 times across like 5 episodes. I'm like, it's a lot. But he got promoted.
He did it. Our boy. Look at him.
Yeah.
He's moved. Do you think he can afford like the nice cereal now? Like he's buying like name brand stuff.
Yeah, like I don't know, Tatooinos.
Yeah. Theory? Do you think we're getting this scene? I'm getting like I'm gonna call my shot. I think he murders his mom. I think that's why we keep getting this kitchen scene. I think we keep getting we saw there was some tension here. He was giving it right back to her a little bit. I think there's going to be a moment where he just snaps.
It would not. I don't think it's horrible. I think he's gonna do something very bad. I think we're leading up to like he's pure incel at this point. It's getting bad. He's stalking people. It's not gonna go well. He is like gonna crumble at some point, and it's not gonna be pretty.
Stalking people or love? Who's to say, Michael?
Exactly. But yeah, so a couple things. He got a haircut. They mentioned Uncle Harlow again here. Uncle Harlow is always mentioned in the kitchen as well. Latanya had a brief theory on her last week where she had mentioned that, Uncle Harlow might be somebody we know, maybe Luthen. What do you think about this? Is Uncle Harlow a named character that we? I don't know.
I would have been more into that theory before the connection revealed this week. I think it'd be too cute if it's like another like is everyone just it's a classic Star Wars trope. Is everyone just related? It's a fun game I like to play, and it could be the case because they have they've done it many times.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Star Wars is about family at the end of the day. So
when you're in Star Wars, your family.
Um, okay, so we'll talk about he does do some stalking here. He meets Dedra outside his work, and he's basically like thanking her for the promotion. He feels like she is somebody that's finally like validated all of his feelings about Andor. Um, Dedra's not having it though, or is she? I don't know. Tommy, what? I'll throw it to you.
Well, I think for sure we can agree he's crushing hard, right? Like in probably in a very unhealthy way, which is like we're not condoning stalking in any way. But like I definitely feel like he feels like they could bond and like sees a friend at least in her. I don't think she is giving him the time of the day right now. And who's but I definitely felt some vibes, right? Like there's something there.
Yeah, so it, I don't. I feel like if we're talking about the edit, right? I feel like they want us to think something could happen like
Yeah.
that. But from perspective of both these characters right now, I don't think any of them are feeling those feelings. Um, so yeah, I think he truly. I think the big thing is though, like this is the first time somebody has shown interest in what he was obsessing over, and that meant a lot to him. So I think for now it's friends. I think it could become more. So we'll just have to wait and see, I guess.
And by for me, I don't see it ever like I don't think she ever wants a relationship with him. I could see it as like a she might want like a one night stand, just get some maybe she has a bad day at work and she's like come here real quick and they go off. But I think he definitely would want to really like if that did happen, he's writing notes. He's already signing his name with her last name. Like he is definitely going to be full all in if they ever do get intimate.
Yeah, Tommy, did you watch the premiere of White Lotus season two?
I did not. I'm not
Okay.
a white. I've not dived into the lotus of the
Well, I won't spoil anybody, but there was a scene in the premiere where something kind of intimate happened, and one character was clearly not supposed to be in this situation, and she was clearly uncomfortable. But there's also like it was like I, talking about it vaguely seems worse than it actually is. So I'll just say what
yeah. Just
happened.
say it.
There's two couples on a vacation. The wife and the husband of the other couple go upstairs because he needs to borrow her husband's bathing suit. So they go upstairs. She gives him the bathing suit. She's standing in the mirror. Behind him, he strips down naked and changes right in front of her. But she like she's clearly a little uncomfortable, but she doesn't stop the situation. So
Hmm.
it's kind of I say all this to say Dedra gave me those similar vibes where like something weird is happening here, but there's still like a tinge of like, am I enjoying this? I don't know.
Yeah,
A
there was like a
long-winded way of explaining this.
no, but I see what you're saying in the sense that like she didn't shut it down in the way, and again she kind of did this with Big. So maybe it's just the actress's way of speaking. Is like there was like almost like this like flirtatious nature, and even like her being like stop, like get away, like I don't know. Maybe this maybe this is we're reading the wrong signals. I don't
Uh,
know.
it's probably nothing.
It's probably nothing.
We're just fan fictioning.
We just want our villains to all date. Okay, is that a problem?
I think the thing is, the big, and this will be the final thing I say on it. I think the big thing is, and the signs for me, is that Dedra is the type of person. If you do something she doesn't like, she's gonna put you 6 feet under. I
Yeah.
feel like if anybody else did this to her, it's not I could turn you in for this. It's I am going to turn you in for this. So she didn't take action against them, and I think that's the biggest sign. She didn't do anything about it. So, another little thing that happens here, it's mentioned throughout the episode that it really caught my attention because of how they're delivering this news to us. They ended up picking up a rebel pilot. And they talk about this, and Dedra says, "Okay, well, I can't go. I'll just like, I'll zoom in, and I'll interrogate him that way. You can send the doctor. He can take care of that stuff." But it's weird because they talk about this so much, we never see it play out. We never see the pilot, and I think that makes me think it's a character we know. I don't know who, but a character we could know.
Maybe it, like yeah, I think you're. whenever they don't reveal a name, I think usually it's someone we don't know. Like even when like the Harlow thing, right? If you keep mentioning a name but like vaguely, I feel like it's someone we know. And I feel like with this pilot, what do you have any thoughts? I can think of one, but I don't know if they would do it.
Yeah, my all my timeline stuff gets really confusing here. I'm trying to think about like who would be in the rebellion at this point. Um, maybe somebody like Hera Syndulla from Rebels. Maybe somebody like Nibnub. Uh, those are the kind of people I have my eye on. They're like, it can't be Luke. So I don't know.
Hera would be the one that but it feels too. Anytime you're connecting like different properties, it does feel a little cute. Obviously, I think the Rebels crew is going to get a ton of attention real soon, anyways. So I could see it. I could see
Mm.
them dropping those seeds in now and introducing characters like that. So that's probably where I put. That's probably my number one target. Uh, but I like your other pick as well.
I do have. I can't remember if they actually said this or I was being sexist in my notes. I wrote him. I kept writing him down. I don't know. Did they say he or?
I'm not sure. I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Sorry, audience. We don't know. It could be anybody, I guess. But yes. So they're gonna just to close up this story. They're going to stage an accident with the pilot, and because they don't want to they don't want to let off any shots. This might start a big war. They want them to know that we're not on to you guys. We don't know what's going on. So they're playing dumb here, and that's what they're gonna do. So we'll see if we see any more of that. It's so specific. There's got to be some sort of payoff to this. The fact that we had two separate scenes about it. So keep that on your board, everybody. Something's happening. Um, but that is all I have on Dedra. Would you like to move on to the Mon Mothma stuff?
Yes.
Mommy Mothma.
Ma-
Yeah. So well, we see Mon here again in the Senate. She is talking about imperial overreach. You can get she's like very liberal when it comes to the empire's politics here, and nobody else is. They're all like walking out, shut up, long live the empire. Poor Mon.
Yeah, I think there was. I was reading subtitles, and I do think there was one person that was like, "Hey, she's saying some good things" or something. Like, I think I saw something like that. I'm like, "Yeah, there's that one person out there."
Yeah.
Not
But
great.
more interestingly, this is where we find out about the connection. And dibs or shout out to Latanya again. She's coming in hot with the theories. She called this one last week. Um, uh, I believe we jumped around a couple different ideas, but this was one of them. So well done to Latanya. But Lita ends up getting a dress from this woman, and it is Vel there inside. And she's basically just popping in, saying hi to Mon. She's been traveling a lot, but you kind of get the point here that they're in this together. They're both. Mon feels like she might be in a little too deep, and Vel is like, nope, this is the right time. We're doing the right thing.
Yeah. Usually I'd be like, "Oh, this is too cute," but honestly, I think this worked for me in the sense that I wasn't really vibing with Vel, and I think this gives me something I can sink my teeth into. I think this gives me something that I can like. There's more. I was kind of wondering why she was in the rebellion because I felt like she was always kind of like, Luther was like, "You have to do it," and it was like kind of like putting all this pressure. But I'm like, why doesn't she just back out? Like, what's her reason? What's her why for being part of the rebellion? And I think this gives me a clear cut way of like she was rich trying and sees that like that's not the way to be and choose this new path for her. It definitely I think helped me knowing that she is cousins to Mon.
Yes. So we got a little bit more stakes here in Bell. So I'm excited to see where that goes later on. We have a dinner scene here with Perrin, the husband. He's very weird. He's like, Vel, have you found a husband? He's pressing her on that.
Yeah, he's weird. Like he just I don't know how to feel about him, Michael.
Yeah.
Like does he's got to just he does something bad, right? Like he ends up turning them in or something at the end cuz there's got to be something that comes down with him.
Here's my official theory. Lita, the daughter, is going to turn her mom in.
Oh.
And then she's going to get herself and her father killed in the process.
Oh. See,
It was like, oh. And then I finished, oh.
uh,
What do you
well,
think?
I guess I have hopes for the daughter that she could do more, but I guess we really haven't seen it. She's just been very on the dad side. So maybe you're right. I think the dad's the buffoon. So maybe basically same thing, but the dad gets them killed.
The thing that thinks makes me think it's Lita, it's the fact that whenever Tay and Mon are having a conversation, she shows up. And
Yeah.
it's just such a weird interaction to be happening so often. Like, we don't, I guess we get a little bit of that here. But even at this dinner scene, Lita says, like, oh, it's her old boyfriend.
Well, that's okay. So this is what if it's a combo platter, right? So what if it's tells the dad, "Hey, I think they're hooking up again. I think she's cheating on you with," which is not the truth, but that's what because they set those seeds of she thinks it's romantic, and so I think she's been seeing it. She keeps catching them hanging out. She reports to the dad. The dad into figuring out more, or something else happens there. But that's what I think it is. Is it's almost a combination of the two, getting more information on Mon.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, Vel ends up leaving here. We do have one last interesting conversation here with Mon when she meets with Tay. They're talking about bank things, and he's kind of warning her, like, you might be in trouble if you go through with this. And then he mentions a loan, and she's like, well, where would I get that? And she kind of gets the vibes that, like, oh, he's already got a plan for this. And he mentions Davo Skoldoron. I don't know. I don't think we know this character, but Mon is like shuts it down immediately. She's like, "This guy is a thug. I don't want any part of it." He almost sounds like a Jabba the Hutt type character, so I'm interested to see this guy.
Yeah, it definitely feels like part of some CD stuff. I like this a lot. I like also the show is so clear on what it's trying to do, which is I think what Star Wars is trying to do. You know, we just talked about Tales, and I kind of mentioned there this like grayness, and I feel like the people behind Star Wars is very fascinated by the idea of like even in a world like Star Wars where it is very black and white, there is this gray that hasn't been really talked about with the originals and a lot of the other stuff, and has started with the Ray. I think the Ray focused trilogy was a little bit more focused on the gray area. And with this, it's like Mon has the best intentions, but even now, to get what she wants, she may have to do something that she go against some of her like beliefs and some of her integrity. And I think that's a really fascinating storyline to continue following.
Yeah, I really like how we're exploring that. Like, Mon is like, she's not all in. She is like reluctant the whole way. Every choice, everything that happens, every person she talks to, there's like some serious doubt in her. And I don't know. I'm excited to see what it is that motivates her to become like the general of the rebellion. I think, and again, I think that's the thing with her family that's really gonna make her, maybe Lita rats them out. The rebellion retaliates against them. Mon gets away, and now they've killed her family. She is full tilt against the Empire. Something's got to happen like that.
Yeah, I think the classic family death leading you to join the rebellion. I feel like that's a pretty easy target to see. But I agree with you. I think that we need to see that change for her. But I like that we're doing it slowly. Like I think I've heard this is like a 2 season show probably, and I like that we're like not jumping into it right away. That we're setting up a lot in this, and it might not even get answered till the second season if that happens.
I'm a little scared about that. I need some payoff. I'm
You want
scared
to?
of.
It
I don't
needs.
need a
I
big
agree.
cliffhanger.
Yeah, we need big. We need big wins here. How to do a good season? Have wins with a couple seeds in the rear view mirror. In the front view mirror. Like, hey, it's coming.
Yeah, one of the mirrors.
Yeah, one your side mirrors maybe. Oh, look, there it is.
Yeah. um, okay, so we can move on from Mon and start talking about the man who the show is named after, Andor. A lot of stuff going on here in Andor's story. Um, back he's they're working. We kind of get more of this man whose name is Olaf. From the very beginning, he's like, "Oh, my hand's hurting. I can't really work." Andor is like backing him up. He's like, let me fill him for you for a second. Um, another thing, he's like making a shiv in the bathroom. That's interesting.
Who
He has like a knife. He's like
yeah,
sharpening it.
a knife. No. Uh, I'll tell you, Olaf was. I had the biggest theories on this guy. He was sketching me out, Michael. I thought something. I thought
Olaf?
he was. Yeah, I thought he was being slow on purpose. Like I thought it was all a scheme. Like I truly did. I was like, he's slowing them down so they don't get flavorful food. This is all on. There's something else going on here. No, no,
Yeah.
there was nothing else going on there.
He's just dying.
He just died.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So we get a lot of conversations about like how they could possibly do this stuff. There's a new man coming to their sector here, and he's talking to another gentleman, and he mentions like anything that moves, elevators, stuff like that, it can't fry you. So if you're gonna make a move, that would be the place to do it. Andor's even like, look, we just take out one of these guards, no problem. You see the early phases of like some of the contemplation of how they could do it. So, yeah, we also get another tunnel scene, more hand signals across the way. They're like they're talking, and they kind of come to the conclusion something very bad has happened on level 2. This is very very scary.
Yeah, I think this would be the most terrifying thing because you already don't have rights and like you're already on someone else's whim, and then to know that they're like, it's like you're being protected even though like you are in prison, right? And when there's like trouble, regardless of what that trouble is, it almost makes you even. It's like your protection is getting attacked now. What's going to happen to them? You once when something happens to them.
Yeah, yeah. Very scary stuff. And we also talked last week about the parallels and themes that very clearly mirror Nazi concentration camps. And this is a big one where, like, how things kind of escalated, where people didn't initially think their lives were technically in danger. And then they start hearing rumors about how things have happened in other areas and that we're not actually as safe as we think we are. And I think that is like, one of the scariest elements of the show for sure.
Yeah, that and like I mean, you touch on it, but like the whole like even having prisoners, be the ones that are barking the orders, like it's
Yeah,
not great.
not good. So yeah, something bad has happened. But they are like, the announcer guy comes over, gets them back in line. But so we get this is an interesting scene here. I think his name's Kino, Andy Serkis. They're talking, and Andor's like, he's very much like pestering Kino about escaping. He's like, have you ever thought about it? What could you do? I have questions. How many guards are there? And Kino is like, you're on your own with this. So this is where we get the name drop of the episode title. Nobody's listening. Like, it doesn't matter. We can talk about this. It's fine.
Is that
But
us on is that us on the podcast? Nobody's listening.
yeah.
We can say whatever. No one's listening.
Party. Woo! Yeah. But yeah. I almost played the "What's Going On, My Party People," the Hulk thing. I'm not doing it. No, I'll spare you guys.
Oh yeah, you didn't miss the deleted scene where Andor looks over and his cellmate is Ched.
Yeah, great scene. I can't believe the same universe.
Yeah,
But yeah, so I really, it's kind of bold of Andor here to like talk to the head guy in charge about this. Pretty risky. I don't know if this is the right move.
yeah, and like I think what's hard in these kind of situations is we're supposed to believe like a good amount of time has passed. It's hard because like for us, time is not. I'm assuming you didn't try this like right away, but it's like, hey, buddy, you're just like outing yourself to the floor manager. He could easily turn you in.
Right. And this is like such a goody two shoes. Like he would rat you out. So very bold move, but he did it. So we get back in like the hallway here, and they end up running into like another sector of prisoners, and they mention another area was completely fried. They're all gone. That's what happened on on level 2, 100 men. Um, so yeah, I think this is, you know, uh, even Kino is kind of like, this is his first step to like realizing, oh, this isn't great. But he like talks everyone down. He's like, listen, we heard nothing. If they know we know about this, then we're dead too. So just act normal, guys.
Yeah, and I think it works just like the small amount of information that they're giving us through these scenes. It's just like a little bit. Then we jump to other, because we're jumping around to the other storylines we just talked about, and I think it is like a good slow build until the reveal of like what actually happened and why it happened.
Right. So, fascinating stuff. We do. I guess the next scene. This is where Yulof he falls out. He's not doing great.
He was so close.
He's so close. Poor guy. This was. They ended up calling in a doctor, but the doctor is a prisoner too, which was interesting.
They're all
Uh,
prisoners.
yeah, true. Except for like
Which
the
is
sergeant.
on like it's so much worse. Like if you have a like people dictating the rules and stuff, there are just guards getting paid. It's like, all right, you're just a guard. But when it's other prisoners, like what it feels like. It's just that it's almost that much more of a mental torture on top of all this. It's just so bad.
Yeah. Well, the doctor explains here that like he's had a stroke, he's not gonna make it, and he's putting him out. I found this interesting in a lot of ways because there's a lot of different ways you could read it. Because at this point, the doctor he's kind of lost hope too. He mentions like
Yeah.
he knows about level 2. We're all gonna die. Nobody's getting out of here. Um, so it makes me wonder like, could he have fixed the old man, or did he do him a favor by taking him out this way?
I think I took it as like maybe he could have tried, but it's like a 99%. Like he knows he's gone, but it's like he's not. It's not like a doctor. You hopefully in the real world you would get where they're like try everything, even if they think it's a lost cause. I think it's like he just thought it was a lost cause, and it was like, all right, whatever. I get. It doesn't. It's low stakes for him. I think is how I felt from it.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing for me was like he was like, no, it's too late, and they're like, too
Yeah.
late. Like, what do you mean? Why? And he doesn't say like, oh, his condition is so bad. He's like, we're all dying. It's like he does. He doesn't necessarily clarify why it's too late.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely, like I said, I think it's a little combination of
Yeah.
he was already dying, and even if he could, it's like, well, he's gonna die anyway. So really, I don't need to do anything here. Do you think he's actually ever saved anyone? That was the theory. Does the doctors go there just to tell people that like it's just to confirm they're dead, but like otherwise, it's
Yeah, I think this guy's just putting people down.
yeah.
And people don't know what the doctor's really like, but they get like a hangnail and they need a band-aid. They go see the doctor. Like, nothing I can do.
I just bumped my knee on the table.
I stubbed my
Sorry.
toe.
Your knee's never gonna go. Your knee's never gonna get back to normal again. Better
Yeah.
take you out now.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so the doctor, big warnings from the doctor. He's basically confirming everything that they've heard. And this is my favorite ending to anything. I really love how they did this because Kino, the entire time, not answering questions, not participating, not entertaining the thought of escape. But once he hears this, they get up, they walk away. Andor asks him again how many people are on the floor, and he is answering the question, and he's playing ball. So I love this. I really love how they did this.
And I think it's because I think there's not a lot that was gonna break Kano, but I think it's just the fact that it was like the it was the Emperor's mistake that caused level 2 to get destroyed. It wasn't
Right.
even like the prisoner did anything wrong. They messed up and then wanted to clean up their mistake by just destroying everyone. That's to me that would break me regardless of how many days, because it's like this could happen to anyone. This could happen to me. Because it's like you can mind your P's and Q's, you can do everything right, and they'll still kill you.
Well, I read it like because they made a point to say the man that was sent to level 2 had been released. He was
Yeah.
done. Um, so the fact that they accidentally sent him to a sector where people think that they can get out, I think what they're doing is they're sending all the people they get quote unquote released to like a death camp. Like you're like they have everybody working here, and they give them hope if they do things correctly, they will get out. And then they get sent to another location where they know they're not getting out, and they're basically either just going to work or they're going to kill them.
Got you. So no one. This isn't just a one time. This always happens like this, where no one ever gets out.
I don't think anybody gets out. That's really dark thought, though.
But Michael, if we do the right thing, and we're just stuck podcasting forever.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. They just send you to another podcast.
But if they send you back to the same podcast, then they just wipe out the whole podcast.
Yeah,
They're like, "Oh man, this is a clerical mistake. I'm so sorry. You weren't supposed to see Michael ever again. Now this is just, oh man."
Tommy, any final thoughts on the episode here?
No, I think it's a really crisp episode, and I think it sets up a lot. I definitely bought into Kino. I like that Kino just didn't agree right away. I liked it. Like, I felt like he did a good pacing there of his constant no, gave him a justifiable reason why he would now be like, yes, let's escape. And I think that will be interesting on that end. I think they're setting up a lot of interesting seeds. And there's not a character that I really, even like the characters that we're like annoyed with, I'm intrigued by them, even if I'm annoyed by them.
Yeah, it's like every character, you have to look at it like, okay, yeah, I'm not standing Cyril, but I'm also not supposed to stand Cyril. Like, he is like a creepy, weaselly character, and he makes me feel creepy and weaselly. So therefore, it is an effective character in that way. So I feel like all the characters on this show are serving their purpose, which, frankly, Tommy, I don't ever feel like that in Marvel these days.
No, and everyone, and there's a lot of characters, and I don't feel like there's anyone that's not getting, like, there's people that are getting less, right? Like, I would like to see more from Bix, but I think what Bix is doing is still really good. Like, I think she's adding something to the show, and I agree with you. I don't think this is often where we can say, like, yeah, I can see where each point was needed for this kind of thing.
Right. Well, all right, Tommy, that's the episode here. Really excited for the rest of this. 3 more episodes. It's gonna be a blast. Tommy,
do you think 3 more is the right amount? This is a longer Star Wars series than we've gotten in a bit. Do you think you're going to end up liking the number of episodes?
I think I can tell you now that I don't like that number of episodes. I think we could have condensed a couple of the episodes in the beginning. I think this needs to be 10 episodes. I love 10 episodes. That's my sweet spot for every show. Make it 10 episodes. 12 is too much. 8 is too little. I love 10. And I think even now I can already see it should have been 10.
I think 1, 2, 3 could have been 1 episode. You do half of just establishing Andor, and then the other half is meeting Luthen. And you would have lost it a little bit, but I think you didn't need. You don't need to establish. It's Star Wars. Like, just establish the characters. That's it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like the characters are being built at, like, if they do their job correctly. And this is, as somebody that has written things in the past, stories and scripts and whatnot, I'm a firm believer in that you can build out a character through action. I think a lot of shows, a lot of movies, a lot of books will take time to slow everything down, take you away from the story to help you learn more about a character, which can be beneficial. But I think you can continue the story. I think you can have exciting moments, and inside those exciting moments is how you build the character, because it's all about choices at the end of the day. That's my lecture, my writer's lecture.
So. I agree.
Okay, Tommy, I'm gonna force you to do it. Any recommendations besides Naruto?
That was just good.
That was your first one, I know.
Well, mostly for the bit. I didn't know if you would think about it, so that I was going to do it for the bit of it, which is mostly why I've snuck it in the last couple. Hey, what do I watch, world? Not much, other than Naruto.
What about reality TV? You watch reality TV, right?
Oh, I barely even that anymore. To be honest, I blame our good friend Alex Brizard, because he's always messaging me, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, I feel like it's a homework assignment by a teacher. I'm like, well, I'm watching Naruto, I swear, and then I have to throw it on. I'm getting my comeuppance by her. I'll like incorrectly spell names when I message him just to tick him off, or I'll like get things. So that's where I've been getting my amusement. Anyways, recommendation. Well, besides Critical Role, which is probably something you're also going to tell me I shouldn't recommend
You
again.
can do that. It's been a while.
Campaign 3 is getting really good. It's we're getting in there with like what are we on, like 40 episodes? It's a lot of episodes, but it's still pretty early, and I really think they're hitting their stride. The first arc I was like about, but it's been getting a lot better. So hey, go watch Critical Role. Let's see. I haven't watched. I watched Twitches for Halloween, the old Disney. That wasn't. I mean, it's really outdated. So if you want to like laugh and just kind of pick something apart, go watch Twitches maybe.
I just realized I don't really have anything to recommend. After all that, what do I?
Wow. Now you have to recommend Naruto.
Can I not recommend something?
Like something you watched and you didn't enjoy, and you're trying to warn people not to watch it because it's not
Yeah.
worth the time. Yeah, yeah.
Halloween season's over. You mentioned a Halloween thing. Stop, guys! Stop watching Hocus Pocus. I'm over this. I didn't like the
The
first
second
one.
or the both? You just don't like the franchise.
I don't like it. I don't like the
Okay.
vibes.
Nothing about
everyone
it.
stop watching it.
You hate the actresses.
I hate the. I don't hate the actresses. I hate their characters.
You hate the actresses. We got to know. Okay, I'm not with you. I'm not. I won't. I'm not a Hocus Pocus stand, and I'm not a. I'm like kind of flip flop on this. I'm just kind of neutral on this.
Okay. Yeah. So hopefully this will get out to everybody in the world, and there won't be a Hocus Pocus 3.
I feel like there's a good title you could have with Hocus Pocus 3. Like, isn't there? They should have been punny with the second one even more.
3 Hocus, 3 Pocus. I think that's, or Hocus Pocus 3 Electric Bungalow.
Yeah. Or maybe just Hocus Pocus 3 times. Hocus Pocus, Hocus Pocus, Hocus Pocus.
On that note, I'm going to close out the Star Wars podcast, Star Wars podcast, Star Wars podcast. I like to remind you guys to rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify, preferably 5 stars. Also, please subscribe because we're going to be here every single week. We got a lot of cool stuff coming. December, I know it seems like there's not a lot happening. I don't believe we have any movies to discuss. Well, Avatar, we might want to talk about that. I kind of want to talk about Avatar. Maybe force like Briz to watch it. Tape his eyes open. And...
Oh no! Good luck.
Yeah, we're not a lot coming in December, TV show wise, but we have cool things planned. So a lot of cool stuff on the horizon. So if you subscribe, it'll come straight to your phone. You'll get a notification. It's wonderful. Also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Also check our show notes for our merch, and we also have a little Discord community going on. So if that is something you're interested in, we would love to have you. But that is all we got for you guys. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
You just died like Olaf.
It was just like, hey, we don't have to check